All right, Run the North, Season 2, Episode 2. We haven't even really gotten into preseason. We got that lame-ass Hall of Fame game, but we're still talking anyway. We got fantasy things to go over. We're going to talk about a little camp stuff from the Bears, from the Vikings. Maybe we talk a little bit about the NFC North. But let's get right into it. Jason, I'm going to toss it over to you. Tell us what happened at the Bears training camp this week. What are we paying attention to here?
Well, first things first, the Hall of Fame game, the Bears training camp made me feel really good. We didn't draft Trey Lance all those years ago.
Well, he looked good. What do you mean? He looked good.
He had an all-star performance, absolutely. But he's not on the Niners, who drafted him, gave a bunch of first-round picks for it. He's not on the Cowboys, who gave a third round for him. And he's now on the Chargers. I think since high school, he's thrown under 600 passes in a real game.
So he's got the experience of maybe a starting sophomore in college, which some QBs have gotten.
The Bears'
drafted,
backup quarterback has thrown more passes in one season of college, Tyson Bagent. So for context, but Trey Lance has made $34 million. So what can we really say?
Yeah, for you, man. I can't do it. Good job.
I'm just glad the Bears don't have him in camp right now. But it's been exciting to hear because it just feels like, again, camp is camp. You have, soccer moms taking videos. You have the team taking, no kidding. You got 12-year-olds on Twitter, TikTok, Xbox, whatever. And then you've got the team sending out exactly only the best stuff, like your Hard Knocks filtered stuff.
Yeah.
So all of that you can take with a grain of salt. I love the clickbait. It's really good for you and I as far as engagement goes. But the one thing that's been consistent, and I'm hearing through fans, hardos, podcasters, and the team, is the one thing we haven't heard before and we're hearing now is that the team, the coaches have decided to take the kid gloves off. We're over inundating the quarterback with so much information. We're going full pads early in camp. These are both things that when asking team players that have been here before, last year or two, well, just call it the Flus regime, they couldn't remember the last time they had full pads multiple times in camp. When did you guys go live? When did you go live to the ground as opposed to just live thud? And it's like, yeah, I can't really remember. When's the last time you got cussed out for something? Sometimes. So the fact that they're
how are you not cussing NFL players out? Like, how are you going to get your message
through? I
don't
know. My dad coached me when I was in 5th grade. I got cussed out the most then,
Yeah.
And it was at a Catholic school. So it's one thing or the other. But that was just really reassuring for as far as the accountability goes. It's really cool to hear is like, well, maybe just by subtraction, because like, wait, we didn't do more than thud. And a professional team for how long? I get the player contracts with the league, whatever the negotiating agreement was there. But
is that part of like a collective bargaining agreement that like you're not supposed to fucking tackle in training camp? What did you just reference there?
It's something like that. Yeah, the collective bargaining is correct, but it's something like you have X amount of hours on the field total. You have X amount of hours where you can only be full pads total. And then one other thing about like off-season stuff with the limited engagement with coaching. But a lot of this stuff is like, you hear all these old heads. It's like, well, we had 3-a-days. And that didn't mean a walkthrough in the morning, a lift, and then a practice. It meant beat the shit out of you in Oklahoma in the morning.
3 times a day.
Yeah, a concussion for breakfast, a sprain for lunch, and a broken femur for dinner. Ice up and do it again in the morning. Like,
so the Bears are getting back to that old school style of play.
Absolutely. And the phrase that I hear the most, which sounds the most right to me, having played high school, college, is like just getting calloused. You see all these teams, like the Bengals are the hottest topic of slow starts. It's, they're just not callous. They haven't been hitting full speed. Obviously, you don't want to beat the shit out of your guy across from you because it's your teammate in camp.
You don't want to get tackled to the ground for the first time in week 1. You don't want to get tackled to the ground for the first time in week 1. Be like, holy shit. Like, oh, I forgot this hurts a little bit. It's like, get used to it a little bit.
The bruises. So callous was a great word for that. And that's the one thing I'm interested in seeing. Bears might win for week 1. They might lose week 1 in general. Well, they're playing the Vikings, so who knows? But it's going to be one of those things just to see what the callous is. There's no bullshit getting to the line and set up where it used to be, oh, it's fine, run it again. Nope, fuck you, you're out. You're out. Second team, get in there. So that means they have to be ready to go. And if not, the second team's got to be ready to go. And then there's a level of accountability to that. So I'm just excited to hear all of those accountability points around building the callous. You should see them if not starting hot with wins and explosiveness, because that's probably too much. Because let's not forget, this is a 5-win team. No matter how excited you are on paper, fuck the Micah Parsons trade. Oh, one other contenders. Like, they had 5 wins. Is Micah Parsons a 10-win guy to get to the Super Bowl? I don't think so from one player. But you should see some consistency. You should see the pre-snap operation be a lot more clean, and that should at least give us a foundation for the first quarter of the season, those first 4 games to talk about. So I'm not there. I can't see. I love everything I'm seeing. Most of the things I'm seeing online clips, you see good connections with the rookies. The rookies have good days. You see the lines finally starting to hit a little bit. But again, it's camp. I'm not a coach. I don't know what they're being asked to do, but it is encouraging just from the foundational standard point. So that's my take on the Bears camp so far.
Okay, here's a question for you.
We're at 9 practices.
Here's a question for you. I agree with what you're saying. I think every fan wants their coach to be like that hard-nosed coach. Like, hey, this is a $100 million franchise, multi-$100 million franchise. Like, we demand greatness. We demand perfection. My question is, are the Bears too soft for that? Is perhaps Caleb Williams too soft for that? Is he? I mean, dude painted his nails. Do you see this potentially being like one of those weird clashes where he's this new Gen Z guy who can't stand up to like the harsh criticism and like the really harsh coaching, and he's just gonna like fizzle out of it? It's like, well, let's start there.
Well, I think that's a question we all want to know, right? Like, I'm never going to understand the finger painting thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm in my mid-30s and he's just turned 23, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that's a decade plus. So, trends are different. I'm not sure if my parents understand the Macklemore haircut from, back in college. Like, I have no idea.
Oh, God, yeah. Like, the shaved everything except the fucking top.
Well, high and tight.
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, you hit the simple question. I'm not trying to defer, but I think you hit the question we all want to know, because
can Caleb stand up to it?
How's he
going to respond?
True, 100%. And that's
where you're going with this. By and large, is the locker room going to respond to that kind of coaching?
Well, okay, so that's exactly where I was headed, because you talk about Thanksgiving. That's when Flus got ousted for being too lackadaisical, we just got to stay together. From the beginning of the season to that point, we wanted accountability, meaning we, the locker room, wanted accountability. Now they really want accountability. And so the Bears listened and got a guy that's all about accountability. Now it's happening. We're seeing it in motion, put into practice. So we're going to see how that goes. No pun intended. But we're going to see how that goes when it goes into the season, when guys are said, you can hear it in press conferences. Johnson's literally come out and saying, Caleb did this really well today. He was late on this, so I pulled him out. Okay, the line, I don't think we had a good practice today. I can't think of the last time I watched one of those press conferences come off of the Bears Twitter and remember a time where a coach openly said, yeah, well, it wasn't a great day today. It's always, it was a great practice today. We got him what we wanted, blah, 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 blah. Coach speak bullshit, da, da, da.
Yeah.
So does that mean anything right now? I don't know. But Caleb, amongst all the other leaders on the team, asked specifically for hard coaching, which means to me intrinsically.
So he did ask for it. So you think he would
Absolutely,
respond to it?
Loud and proud. It's out there. So if you crumble under that, then we have a problem.
Right.
So if you got what you asked for, now it's time to produce.
Yeah. Well, what it makes me think of is with Caleb particularly, it reminds me of a scene from Remember the Titans where, I think it's the running back is fumbling a little bit too much, right? We got Coach Yost is now on the defense. We got, what's the head coach? Who's Denzel Washington? What's his name? Coach Boone.
You're killing me, Petey.
Yeah. And he pulls him out. And he's just like, and then Coach Yost is like, hey man, not all the players respond to this hard coaching. And then he puts him as a linebacker and gives him some positive reinforcement and like turns him into an all-star. I'm not saying they're going to put Caleb Williams at like fucking defensive back or something, but I do wonder. But if I didn't know that Caleb was, I guess, asking for hard coaching, could be, if we're speculating, which we're podcasters, so we might as well speculate. It could be one of those guys. We've all met these guys that's like, it's always an excuse. And last year he's like, they're not coaching us hard enough. And then maybe we get 4 games into the season, they're 0-4, they're 1-3 or something. All of a sudden he's like, well, Ben Johnson's way too hard. Like, it's just like never going to be It's always an excuse. It's not me not doing the right thing. So we'll see. That's what I'll be interested in.
I like that.
It's going to be an interesting first 4 games of the season for Chicago. And I'll keep going on that tangent with like this hard coaching, where I do think that I think the Bears are probably going to be the bottom of the NFC North this year, only because I think it's going to take a year to work some of these guys out of the roster and start to form this roster in Ben Johnson's image. You think back to Dan Campbell's first year when he took over. They were 1-15. They got their first win in like 20 games against the Vikings. I remember, but he had conviction. He was a hard ass coach. And then that next year, they hit like 9-8, something like that. And then last 2 years, they've been golden. So
they were also the flip of you guys, because you guys had that year with Kirky where you were 7 for 7 in 1-score games, which is unheard of. I think the Detroit Lions were
the heart attack
0 for 7, which is I think they were 0 for 7, which is also unheard of. So to your point, I hear exactly where you're going with this, and I agree.
Yeah, so I think that's my biggest knock on the Bears is like it might take a year for this to gel and for Ben Johnson to like, that's the thing with hard coaches is like you got to push push the people out that you don't want in your organization. And it might take them a full season to do that and then get the right people into the organization to start building.
Starts with coaching, starts with the draft. And that's something too, is like to finalize that point, I'm going to just take it one step further, is that the Bears were not good last year. They drafted 10th this year, which means they were 5-12. So to even double that, you put a 9-win team, that's just about double. A 9-win team is over 500. That's literally doubling their win percentage. What teams double in 1 year? Now they could do it because it's only getting to half their games, but let's just start winning on Sundays and let's start winning away games.
Yeah.
But first of all, we weren't winning even at home. So let's just win the home games. Like that's your generic take. And let's go from there. If you can start getting the fan base behind you, you can start winning some of those games that you should be winning at home. Because like even a close game, you should win the home game and lose the away game. That's the stereotype, right? So doubling is a huge step, and that's still 500 or a game above, whatever that ends up being mathematically. So I agree with you. Let's see what they do with it. And that still could be the bottom, because although I don't think we're going to see as high of a spike from the NFC North, like I don't think we're going to see 2 14-win teams this year. I mean, it might be 10, 11 wins in the division. It's going to be, because I don't think the Bears.
I could see like 10, 11, and 12 wins. I could see like Packers 10 wins, and then Lions and Vikings having like 11 or 12 wins. I could totally see that happening again.
Right.
As much as I hate to admit the Packers are going to get 10 wins, like they just always kind of fucking figured out. I don't want to give LaFleur credit, but they just do. He is a pretty good coach. He does figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to be a tougher division than it was last year, but it will probably be a closer, more entangled.
I think so.
Better media story.
Yeah. Another question.
So anyway,
on this,
that's where I'm at with there. Go ahead.
Another question about this dichotomy of hard coaching, soft coaching, hard team, soft team.
Have you ever heard an NFL player saying we're getting coached too hard?
No, I mean you can't say that though. I mean this is the fucking NFL. It's not goddamn.
You just think they crumble and want to get traded?
It's not therapy session. Yeah, no. But here's the thing.
That's what I think we forget. Anyway, what's your question? Sorry.
Who's your running back one right now? DeAndre Swift?
On the depth chart, correct.
Was he not in Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell's doghouse at Detroit for being too soft? Maybe not too soft mentally, but like not wanting to take hits, not wanting to run up the middle. Have you heard anything about this? You think that anything's changed? I think I saw some little snippet that Ben Johnson's like, DeAndre Swift's a great, talented running back. Do we have reason to believe he's going to draw the ire of Ben Johnson in this year, given his history with Ben Johnson on the Lions?
I think that's going to go away. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but no, but that's the thing. I don't think if it's so the way you're taking it assumes he's RB1 and he's going to be the multiple guy. I'm saying it's going to go away in the sense that people are probably going to just be resigned to the idea that he's the
outside running back, kind of like pass
1A by committee. So like Roshan Johnson's going to be more your downhill guy. He's lost a couple pounds. They're excited about him. He can pass block a lot better than Swift or Manungai. Manungai is a little bit more shifty. He's basically Ashton Genty light is what we're hearing. But even that with those, I'm not going to
the Kool-Aid, my friend.
No, I'm not. I'm repeating what others have said who have watched him. That's what I'm repeating. The thing with him is, again, let's not forget, and this is I've been going back and forth all week on Twitter with this. like the Micah Parsons thing. You're not Micah Parsons away from being a contender. You are a 5-win team on paper. Oh, but on paper they have this and they have this, but you had Micah Parsons. Are you adding 6
you
wins because of one defensive end?
You need to see a little more proven performance before you're Micah Parsons away from winning.
100%. And that's why I think we're going to see a little bit of a bump. Again, the defense was middling. The offense was less than middling. Caleb still doubled every rookie passing yard
for the Bears.
So if we can get the offense to be average and the defense to be above average, 15 to 10, that'd be great because there's still talent that they could do that. They were top 5 under Flus the first year for a minute there. So the talent is still the core there. The whole point back to the running back thing and to the coaching thing. Bieniemy is their running backs coach. He's known for being
You guys have Bieniemy? I didn't even realize that. You guys have Bieniemy?
He's our backs coach. He's the one that led Adrian Peterson to his best years. Let's not forget.
Whoa. He was never on the Vikings.
Okay, check your facts, kid. Why does the Bears fan know more about the?
Hold on, is this a fact? Was he our running backs coach?
We're gonna do the NPR that we'll be right back. Break here. We're gonna insert this here while Will looks up Eric Bieniemy, and he's gonna find the clip of him cussing Adrian Peterson out all day, telling him, "You want to be here? You're gonna be here. I'm gonna be here," or something close to that. And while you're searching that up, I'll finish my point, and then you'll tell me I'm right when I'm done.
I'm watching right now. I do see Minnesota Vikings coming up in.
So my point is, if you're going to go with accountability, there is some talent on this team. There are 5 wins on paper. There are some things that I can get encouraged by on paper. But again, on paper, you got to prove it. They have not been able to prove it since Lovie Smith. That's early 2000. So you fucked up under Trustman, Fox, Nagy, Eberflus, 4 different regimes. Coaching is the thing, and we've been talking about this all offseason. I'm sure everyone's annoyed by it now. That's going to help it translate the first, second year in this transition. After that, the players will take over because right now the players cannot and are not leading that locker room.
Yeah.
So the coaches are resetting and showing them the way. Now, while you finish that refreshing sip of whatever, was it Gordon's iced tea or what was that?
Oberon Light. You ever had an Oberon Light? I ever had an Oberon before?
I don't think I have. It looks tasty though.
It is. It was my favorite beer in college. Now there's a light version of it. It's a citrus wheat ale. Very nice. I really like this light version.
I like a wheat ale. Messes with my tummy, but it tastes great.
Yeah. Okay, Jason, I gotta cut you off because Mr. I don't have 10 minutes to talk about Bears training camp. We're going on 17 minutes, and I still got another question to ask you.
Well, stop asking me so many damn questions because I want to hear about JJ. I want to hear about the defensive.
We'll talk. I got one more question. One more question about the Bears. Because I got debated a little bit by a tweet. It was like, and you talked about you guys had the 10th pick in the draft. It's about to be that. It's a question about that pick, Mr. What would say, Cortland Loveland or something like that? Something Loveland? Colson.
We have Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland.
Stupid name.
He's from Utah, Idaho.
He's probably Mormon. I did see a tweet that's like, Colston, yeah. Colston Loveland getting unreal separation on this play. I was like, oh, okay, is he doing things? And then it was just literally him running an air route against no one. I was like, I got. But
I thought you were talking about the one-on-ones in the end zone where he didn't get separation, but he did it was a back shoulder ball, and he separated from linebacker number 47. That was great body control, but it wasn't great separation.
Is he going to be like playing the Joker role, like kind of more like hybrid slot receiver, trying to take advantage of middle linebackers?
He's going to be your move tight end. Cole's going to be your traditional Y. And then you'll find Colson to be more of that like Bowersy, Kelsey type. Not comparing him in the name, but just you can visualize the guy he'll be in a 2-point
work the middle of the field.
Exactly. Get vertical, be a security blanket. Hopefully, crushing the red zone there.
Okay. Well, we've spent way too much talking about a 5-win team here, so let's talk about a real winning team.
Amen.
Like the Vikings. Okay. Training camp, not too much happened this week. What I am most excited about was our first inter-team scrum. There was a fight that broke out at the Vikings training camp. You hear about this?
Tell me more. I did, but let's get your take on this. Who was it between? Why did it happen? All that stuff.
Love all the elements of this. It's Aaron Jones caught a pass. He got checked. So I watched the video. He got kind of checked by one guy, and then Brian Asamoah, a linebacker drafted in Kwesi's first year, blew him up a little bit after Aaron Jones kind of got checked and stopped. He kind of came up and popped him and put him to the ground. Which is like, okay, like I like the chippiness, but then
that's a guy trying to make the roster still.
Yeah, Will Fries. He's a center, right? I keep getting Will Fries and Ryan.
He's your right guard now. Kelly's your center. They're both from the Colts. That's why
maybe it was Ryan. Yeah, I can never remember which is which. I can't even remember which one. One of them came up and got in Brian Asimov's face. There's a big scrum, and then like JJ McCarthy got in the middle of it and was like shoving the defenders too. Which I'm like,
he's 180 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, he's built. I think he's like bigger than Darnold was. Like he's got broader shoulders at least. But I just fucking love that. Cool. I fucking love that. QB getting in there, like, get off my guys, dude. You cannot tell me that does not fire up your offense. That like when your quarterback's getting into the scrum, like ready to scrap it with the defense, you know the offense is like, hell yeah, this is my guy. He's going to battle for me. I love that shit.
That's that Chicago kid in him. That's that Michigan in him. That's awesome.
Which apparently I read that Kevin O'Connell has like a strict no fighting policy at training camp. So apparently there was like some words there, but like, dude, fuck that, dude. If JJ McCarthy is like ready to scrap over some inter-team training camp beef, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Kirk Cousins would never.
Yeah, that's not his personality.
Outside of that, it's so funny. You look at the national media, and it's just so clickbaity these days. Because you'll see, ESPN and Yahoo are like, JJ McCarthy is terrible. I saw some ridiculous headline that was like, JJ McCarthy looks nothing like the national collegiate championship winning quarterback. Like, blah, blah, he missed passes. It's like, dude, it's training camp.
Isn't that a good thing? Because that was a run first team.
Yeah, but
you got a coach that wants to do play action 7-step, deep crosses and verticals. I mean, that should look nothing like the check down king he was with Blake Corum. Come on.
Yeah. And so you see that, and then you see other people that are like actually paying attention. It's like, yeah, he had up and down days, but also I think the bigger story is like our defense is going to be legit. I know we're going to talk about fantasy in a little bit. I never, ever on principle draft defenses in my draft. I always just go week by week. Stream them. This year, and this is going to be tough because I play in leagues with all Minnesotans, but like I might reach for the Vikings defense because I think that they're getting interceptions left and right. Our defensive line, I think, is going to be a terror. The only thing that would be a downfall is injuries, which we did grab 2 free agents who are great players, Jonathan Allen,
30+.
Hargrave. They have had injuries, but like they're such huge upgrades. And like the biggest problem with our defense last year, in my opinion, was the defensive line not getting pressure on the quarterback in base settings. And I think we've solved that, assuming again that these free agents are still in there. I think our defense is
your secondary.
Who needs to trust the secondary when you got Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan, Jason Hargrave. What's Hargrave's first name? Jason Hargrave.
Javon Hargrave.
Javon. Yeah. You got Van Ginkel, Javon Hargrave, Harrison Phillips, Jonathan Allen, and Jonathan Grenard on the line. Like
Dallas Turner.
And then you have Dallas Turner in fucking reserves. They have like last year they ran the NASCAR package, they called it, which was they got Dallas Turner on the field with Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel. That's an
ode back to the Giants Strahan line with
is it really?
Tuck and OC. I think NASCAR is kind of when that came out. It was Tom Coughlin against Brady in the Super Bowl. That was that year.
Which
that's
I
a good ode.
I mean, I think Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, and I think the reason they won is on the strength of their defensive line. They were not only good, but they were deep. And I think the Vikings are building the same thing. One of my favorite guys from last year, Jalen Redmond, who was like a cast off. I think he was like a fairly high draft pick when he was drafted. Didn't really stick on a team until he got to the Vikings, and he was just making splash plays every time he got on the field. And he's like he's back of the backups right now.
Right.
So I'm excited about the defense. Like JJ struggled against the defense, which again I'm not surprised because the defense is going to be great. But the fact that he's found success is also great. There's also a fairly viral video of him just throwing this beautiful anticipation route. I don't know if what's that out? You know what video I'm talking about to Addison?
It's an out route. We were talking about today. That's beautiful.
He throws it before Addison's even started cutting out. It's what I've talked about with J.J. McCarthy.
He still had to make up 10 yards just to get to this ball.
It's great. It doesn't even look like it should work. It doesn't look like it should even work. Because he throws it 10 yards away from him before he's even running in that direction. And this is something I was calling out about McCarthy last year, why I was so optimistic about him, is this quality that a lot of quarterbacks don't have. Like we talked about this before stream, like Mitchell Trubisky, he's not throwing the ball until he sees the receiver open. If J.J. McCarthy can throw with that anticipation in a real game, like that is just, I feel like that's such an X factor for a quarterback. Like that's how you really beat defenses.
Trusting his teammate. That's a kid trusting his play caller, and that's a kid that's gonna.
Well, and that's how you beat defenses. That's how you beat defenses, in my opinion. It's like if you can throw it before a guy is even where he's gonna meet that ball, how are you supposed to defend that? I mean, maybe it's a pick six. The simplest
rule of football as a quarterback: don't turn the ball over. Throw it to where the defense isn't. They're giving every defense designed to take away something, which inherently means they have no choice but to give up something. So if you can diagnose and trust it, throw it to where they're not. That's such a simple thing, but so few guys do it exactly. And that's, as a Bears fan, Grossman couldn't do it. Cutler wouldn't do it because no one would get open. They just force it. And then you got Trubisky, like we just said, Justin Fields, the same thing. So I'm so jealous of you guys. It's obviously JJ's my guy, so it's one thing, but I'm so jealous that you guys get to watch that, and hopefully that's something that that OC can take and just trust. And you can't defend it because you can diagnose it and put it where it needs to be.
Yeah, and so that'll be the big test. I think he's going to get some play in like the first preseason game. I think maybe KOC said this. Maybe it's just speculation, but like maybe he'll play a half of the first preseason game and then sit from then. KOC prefers letting someone like J.J. McCarthy, like a starter who maybe needs a little more experience. He prefers that in those like team practices, which aren't like nationally televised, which I get because then you get a little more control over like the coaching and if something's getting a little too rowdy, you can kind of back off it. But obviously J.J. McCarthy, huge focal point of this offseason. Everyone's watching him. I think the headlines have been he's been up and down. I'm optimistic about it. Defense has looked nasty. We've even had just like defensive depth players making crazy plays. I'm trying to think of, we have so many Jackson. I think it's like one of the Jacksons on our team is Theo Jackson. We have Theo Jackson on defense, and we also have Lucky Jackson, who's a wide receiver, and I think we used to have a Tristan Jackson. Maybe he's not on the team. Maybe I'm getting the name wrong, but
so that's a good spot where they're all going to have a chance to make their name in those practices. And one thing that I'm excited with the Bears, because we played the Dolphins and the Bills at home for preseason, but we also have joint practice with them. Look with you guys, you have joint practices against the Patriots, which is against Vrabel and McDaniels as the OC. Like that's
great
one thing I'm speculating with the Bears. Well, 100%. Not only that, a great team and also a new and upcoming team again, but against a hard-nosed guy, experience being Vrabel. What I've heard from the Bears camp, and I'm assuming it's the same with the Vikings, that's why I'm bringing it up, is that you're probably – I'm cool that you're going to see him, JJ, early in the preseason, but we don't have a fourth preseason game anymore because it used to be build up first, build up second.
I mean, it was a waste of fucking time anyway. It was a waste of time anyway,
right.
So
you can control these practices more, and that's where these guys who are in camp battles for, right tackle 1, pass rusher 2, they're going to be made in these joint practices. So do you think you're going to get any access, on social media to seeing some of these clips from there or anything that it takes that can help us influence? Because it's going to be Thursday.
I'm sure. I think those practices are like fully open to the public. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of tape coming out of that.
Sure. Because that's something that, again, it's going against Vrabel and McDaniels, guys who are just vets in the league, both sides of the ball there. That's a great experience for a rookie quarterback, especially because we know that the Patriots and Vrabel are known for being tough and multiple, which means confusing for a quarterback. I'd be really excited if I was a McCarthy fan to just see how he's able to diagnose and hang in that type of situation. So I'm looking forward to that for you guys. So August 13th and 14th, Wednesday and Thursday next week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Okay. We can talk about this training camp stuff plenty. We'll have another podcast next week where we'll talk about it. We're at the halfway point. Let's switch gears to fantasy. I want to ask you about this because I think listeners will be interested to hear this. Tell me about this new dynasty mode that you are engaging in, this new league. It sounds so interesting. I'm so jealous you get the chance to experiment with this. So just like start at the top. Tell us about what like a dynasty tiered PPR league starts. Let's start with tiered PPR because that's one thing I feel like could be applied to any league.
Sure. So, PPR is point per reception. So anybody on the field that catches a catch gets a point for the catch plus the yardage gained. Tiered means there's different values to different yardages to a catch. It's not where they catch it. It's just the total of the catch.
It's how valuable it is. A 0-yard catch does not get you points, as it should not.
Well, you'll get points for the yards. You're right, but you don't get an extra point for just catching the ball for sure. So I think it's like 0 to 5.
So a 0-yard reception.
5 to 10.
Isn't a 0-yard reception 0 points?
Yeah, because you didn't get any yards.
Right.
So if you get so say it's a 3-yard catch, you get 0.3 because you get the 3 yards, but you don't get the point there. But if you get, so I think it's 0 is the first tier, a quarter, a half, 3/4, and then full. So I think it's 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 15, and then 15 plus. So like it sounds like, running backs can get something if they're catching more than 5 yards, right? Like on a swing pass or something. But, your Will Fullers of old, your Brandon Cooks, your Kenny Stills, the guys that are good for 3 catches, but they're all 30 plus yards each, that's a full point plus the yardage. So I'm really excited about that tiered score. I've never done it. I've only ever done standard, half, or full PPR. But so we're doing a dynasty contracts league. It's the first time I've done a dynasty league. I've wanted to do a dynasty or a keeper for a long time. I just couldn't get guys on board because they're so in their thing. And I think it's just the next progression in the addiction because everybody starts doing a snake. You get to know, all right, it's my turn to pick. I get that guy. Then like the thing that is, if you go to an auction, which is the next tier up from that is you'll never go back. So I got $200 to make my team. I spent $30 on this guy, $50 on this guy. So now we're doing what's called a dynasty contracts league. Keeper leagues, you keep 1 to 3 guys year over year, and you get to choose which ones based on your draft who you elect that year. Dynasty, I'm drafting my guys the first year, and then the next year we just have a rookie draft. So with the contracts, I can decide. So you're not releasing
anyone year over year. You got your team. You can cut them if they're too expensive, just like you have a salary cap.
Yes.
You're like, hey, I got Cortland Sutton. He didn't perform last year, and he's kind of expensive. Let me cut him so I can bid more on like a rookie next year.
100%. So you still have the same as an auction draft. You have $200 to allot to whatever starters and bench guys you want. That's the same. But whatever, so say I nominate a Jaden Daniels and I get him for $30. Well, that's my salary cap for the year for him. Now think of it like a Madden franchise mode. I got Jaden Daniels. I can elect to keep him for a year at $30. If I think he's going to be good for the next couple of years and I want to pay him, then I can give him an extension. I can give a 3-year, 2-year, 1 year, and then there's 1 4-year, I think. But then it's if I pay him for an extension for 2 years, I paid him 30 this year. Next year I get to keep him, but I got to pay him 35. So he counts for 35 against my 200 and so on. So you don't have the full roster. You can do that, but it's a good percentage of the roster. But I'm super excited because you have more of a long-term thought. There is the Madden style of managing the cap, not just for your draft, but all season long. Mm-hmm. Into year 2, you have draft slots for rookies, so you can stash rookies at a $4 cost. But when you nominate them to the active roster, so it's like an IR spot basically. It doesn't count for anything other than the $4 to keep them. But there's so much more strategy for that. So it's like, do I go all in now and worry about it later? Do I swap my picks to get somebody for later? How am I spending my money on positions or youth? Man, it's the final form of the addiction that is fantasy football.
It really blends, like you said, it really blends fantasy football with like a Madden, like franchise mode, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very.
And it's great to do with buddies, So it's something to talk a little bit of shit.
It's like fantasy with like having to manage cap and fantasy and a team. You're basically just 100%. A fucking GM. You're basically just a GM.
Yeah, GM I'm so wired. We have right now, I think we've got the 25th as a draft. So I got just over 3 weeks to figure this out. It's also on a platform I've never used. It's called Tycoon Leagues. I'm like most people, Yahoo and ESPN are my predominant ones. And now Super the last couple of years for our Guillotine League. Yep. But I can't find a single place where I can take the specific settings for this leagues and throw it in a mock. So I don't know how I'm really going to prepare for this, and that's something we'll talk about as we get into
just go with your gut, man. Just do your research and then just let those picks fly.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be bouncing off of you, and excited to see what people say in the comments. And it's like, so am I going win now? Am I going, just get some younger guys, keep it under 30, keep it under 25,
Nah.
scratch this year, right? Exactly.
Go for the win, baby.
So I'm a go big or go home. Like, give me the Tyreek Hill, give me the McCaffrey, give me the because either I'm going to get my ass kicked or I'm going to dominate you. I don't want to do this whole my whole premonition was, I just want my averages. I just want to, if I get what I'm projected, I'll be fine. It always leaves me, butthurt. So
yeah,
I can't wait. I'm excited. What types of leagues are you in this year? What type of formats are you preparing for? What's your normal slate for the fantasy season?
Yeah, I'm pretty still vanilla at this point. I'm jealous you've played a guillotine league. I love being a guillotine. I'd love to try a dynasty league. I'm in as of right now, just in my home league, which is a standard redraft. I got a fantasy league, which has like 18 people. Half of them are like under 6 or something like that. They're drafting Patrick Mahomes 1 overall. So it's just like a goofy league. And then I'm always, I always start the work league. If the work league doesn't exist, I always start the work league, which our work does not have one. They had one in the past. So I'll start a work league. So probably like a 8 to 10 person league, probably mirrors the home league a little bit, where there's like people who don't really know fantasy. Again, people that are probably drafting quarterbacks in the first round just because they're like,
that's going to be a deep team though. 8 to 10 guys. That's be some great rosters.
That's fun. Then you can get a good roster. But then I do best ball through Underdog Fantasy, which I had some success with last year. I think I went in with, I had like a bonus $100 for signing up. I think I went in with like $150 last year. I came out with like 220, so I did pretty good. Granted, most of the money I made was on a single. It wasn't even fantasy. It was like whatever their little like gambling thing is. It's like, is so and so going to get over or under so many yards? And I did something one week where I was like, oh yeah, Christian McCaffrey.
How do you not remember your biggest play?
I don't know. I have terrible memory. I'm always looking to the future, baby.
Maybe you have a problem. Come on now. But tell me real quick about the best ball. What's the format? How does that work?
Yeah, which I thought I'm surprised you don't play best ball because you're such a big football guy.
We were talking at the bar today. I think I might have to.
It's definitely made for addicts because all it does is it reduces the fantasy season to the funnest part, which is just the draft. So you do your draft just like a regular fantasy draft, and then you don't touch your team after that point. Every week, your highest possible total is calculated. So if you have 4 running backs, 2 of them score 10 points, 2 of them score 20 points, it's going to take the 2 20-point running backs. And then you're not playing week to week like head-to-head matches. It's just year-end total. So it's similar to a redraft league, but you're really going more like bang or bust players. Guys like Jamison Williams, where, maybe he's more consistent this year. Excuse me.
Sick. Do it again.
But yeah, you're looking for guys that can really go off for huge yardages to really rack up points week after week. Because if they don't, you probably got another guy on your roster that'll like turn in a decent performance.
So is it a full roster, or is it like, how are you delegating who's getting? So you say I got a roster of 15 guys. Yep. They're just taking the best 8 scorers, or how does that work?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, you still have a starting roster. You'll have 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running back, a tight end, a flex. I don't think they do kickers or defense usually.
Thank goodness.
So yeah, you every week you start 2 wide receivers, and you can draft like 8 of them. So it just takes the 2 best of the 8. Which I find pretty fun. But also, again, really leaning into the people that have the gambling addiction, because you can literally have, like the guy I listen to, this is a question you have on our question sheet, which is like, where do you do your research? I listen to one guy for like 80% of my fantasy knowledge. The YouTube channel is just FFA, Fantasy Football Advice. It's ran by a guy, I think his name is Nick. And I'm not saying he's better than anyone else, but I just agree with him more than anyone else. And I like the way he breaks things down, because he does all like the legwork when it comes to calculations, where he's like, okay, he starts with like just like the base stats of like how many passes are going to get thrown or how many runs are going to happen, and like what's the like reception share for the receivers. Like, okay, last year, CD Lamb had a 30% reception share, and based on changes in the offseason, I think his reception share is going to go up or down or something like that. Just talks it in a way that it makes sense to me, and I agree with his analysis a lot of times. So a lot of times what I'm looking at is, we talked about this earlier today. A big thing I look at is like vacated touches, where like if an offense has a couple big offensive players that had 300 touches last year, like where are those touches going to go to? Another thing he talks about that I really, really appreciate is he'll talk about like how good or bad the defense is, because that very much affects the offense. Like if you have a bad defense that gives up a lot of points, like holy shit, draft the offensive players. That's why I'm looking at the Bengals a lot, because like if your defense is giving up 30 points a game, well, you're going to have to throw a lot, score a lot of points to keep up with that, versus if you have a defense heavy team that likes to run the ball a lot, even if they have a great wide receiver, great quarterback that are very talented, they might not score a lot of fantasy points because they just don't have to a lot of the time.
I'm looking at this guy's website. Holy cow.
You like it?
We have to tag him, put some stuff in there. I mean, you got to pay for most of this stuff, but as I'm looking at the dynasty rankings, go ahead.
I mean, he gives a lot of the information out for free on YouTube, but yeah, he does have like subscription service. I feel like he's got to be working with other people, but sometimes I'm not sure if it's just totally him, but he's great.
He's got dynasty ranks here by 100, 0 to 100, but he's got the pick rankings too. Like the next year's first round rookie pick should be like 8th in the league, just behind Genty and before CD Lamb. Like, I mean, I gotta see if this is legit, but like that's a pretty cool. Because
he's not 5 spaced at all. He does all these. You can tell the dude's got like a strong grasp of Microsoft Excel, because he's just got some forms where he's like, I'm gonna tweak this percentage down 1% and see how that affects all the players on the roster.
Love that.
I really like that channel. I watch Sam Saliveri or something like that. I forgot.
I got him on all my follows. He's great.
But I've lost a little respect from him just based on how like clickbaity he is on, like engagement baity he is on Twitter. I feel like he just has the same tweet every day. He's like, last year I told you to draft XYZ. This year I'm telling you to draft this. It's just like, I know there's a lot of that.
You got something that works, I guess. I'm not going to hate the player. I'm going to hate the game,
Yeah.
But I'm with you. All right. So that's sick, actually. So have you started a lot of your research yet? I know we're a month away from Labor Day, which is usually when most of the drafts happen. Where you at?
I'll say as soon as the rookie draft happens, I'll start watching videos, do some research.
Yeah.
And then I'll start like doing mock drafts. I probably did my first mock draft about a month ago, which would put us in like mid-July, which it's too early. Like things change so much. I wouldn't do a paid draft at this point, but like just to get an understanding of like, how do I build a roster from pick 1, from pick 4, from pick 7, from pick 12?
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of like who is generally available here. Like, can I do 2 running backs in round 1 and 2 and still like have like a roster I'm happy with?
Where's my value gonna fall?
Exactly. Yeah. So like I don't think it's ever, well, I'll say as soon as the NFL draft is over, you can start doing mock drafts. But I'd say like maybe after a little extra free agency period and training camp.
If you're doing a mock draft in May before Memorial Day, you need a doctor.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Like I like it just for that point. It's like a reference point. It's like, okay, where are we looking at Jaden Daniels this year? Where are we looking at Bucky Irving this year? Like guys that could be 3rd round, could be 5th round. Like I don't really know. Well, okay, the tried and true, Mr. Consistent. Where are we going to find Mike Evans? Is he in the 4th round? Is he in the 7th round? Like because he's getting older, but he always has 1,000 yards. So for that type to just kind of put me in the ballpark of what I should be thinking ish, because like right now, beginning of camp, they're wherever they are. By the end of the camp, if you're outside of the top 7, 8 picks, you're going to slide a round or 2 one way or the other. Plus,
right.
And then by the time you get to the 3 preseason games, totally unwarranted because preseason has nothing to do with anything production wise. It's going to change again. So that's where I don't like the anxiety in me and the excitement in me. Like I can't tell if I'm excited or if I'm just bored. It's like, I want to draft right now. I want to draft the first week of August. Let's go.
Right.
But then
Things happen.
Somebody gets hurt. Late signing. You and I were talking at the bar. What we talking about the Chargers?
Yeah, you said one of your questions is it too early to do drafts or whatever? One of the guys I've been super high on is Ladd McConkey, because it's like, okay, Chargers might not run a lot, but he showed at the end of last season that he's a target funnel, and we've seen Justin Herbert feed Keenan Allen before, like 17 receptions a goddamn game, and Ladd McConkey, slot receiver, same like form factor as Keenan Allen. I'm like, yeah, I want Ladd McConkey in the second round. Like he maybe his ceiling isn't crazy high, but like he's gonna be that guy that gets me 15 to 25 points consistently. Like in my mind with fantasy, it's like you need that kind of mix of like you need the consistency guys to make sure you're like in every game, and then you need a couple guys that like have a chance to go off. But now sounds like the Chargers might sign Keenan Allen, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I took Ladd in a bunch of mocks, and like, okay, I reached for him in most of those mocks, and now I'm like, okay, maybe I like him because I was picking him up way above his ADP, and now I'm like, okay, maybe I like him more at his ADP now. Maybe it moves down because if they end up signing
more mocks than you've been letting on, huh?
I've probably done like a dozen. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do at the end of the night.
That's insane. Good for you, dude.
I
thought, okay, I did 2 this morning, and I did them on sleeper, so I can just set it and leave it and just let it auto draft the whole way. Just again, so I
you don't even draft yourself.
I don't know I don't have any draft slots, and to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter for 4 out of my 5 drafts because they're auction anyway. So I just want to see what the computer is setting for dollar values, because that's the actual.
I see.
The only thing a draft slot in auction means is who I nominate. Doesn't mean that's my guy.
Yeah. Well, hey,
but,
we
just
got
start putting dollars and averages.
We got 15 minutes left. I got to piss, but like, let's talk about top 20 players. Let's just talk about the top 20 players going in the first 2 rounds, whatever, and fantasy drafts, and see what we like about them. Let's talk about them. All right, you ready?
Do that.
Oh, sheesh. I just lost his audio. Say that again.
Good luck, bud. Don't make a mess.
Oh, I'll be here. I'm not. We're going to keep talking, but let's just wrap this shit up.
Oh, you're going to wait to pee. Okay.
Yes.
Good for you, man. All right. So, all right, top 20. I have the Fantasy Pros list up just because it's really easy. I like how they do tiers, whether I agree with where they're at or not, but it just kind of gives you an idea of where they're at. You can do Yahoo, you can do ESPN, you can do others. But we're going to do the top 20. So that happens to fall nicely with their top 1, 2, and 3 tiers for full point PPR. All right.
Yeah.
You ready to jump into that?
I am.
All right.
101, so Jamar Chase. Is there any argument against Jamar Chase at 101 in PPR?
None. He seems to be the safest, most secure in a PPR format that we've seen in a long time.
I mean, bad defense, good quarterback that loves to feed him. I just don't see any reason to not take Jamar Chase 101
last year.
I don't see any reason to not take him.
No.
Bijan Robinson, number 2. How are we feeling about that?
I guess my bias says I love it just because he won me a league last year. But rookie quarterback, and we're going to talk about that with Jefferson coming up in a couple picks too. Not technically a rookie, but like rookie quarterback, you never know.
It's a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah, I like that he's got the same OC. He came from what was that? Tampa. They were able to put good fantasy numbers with guys that were shaky or in and out. But as RB1, I don't see. You could make an argument for him or Gibbs, but after that,
he's got
I don't
the
see
talent.
else that's really challenging.
He's got the talent, right? Like that's
exactly.
not deniable. He's
got
the talent,
and he's fresh.
It's can the offense get him there, right? Like, is the offense going to score enough points and be effective enough? That's the question mark in my mind. Is like, okay, everyone assumes Michael Penix is going to be like this huge improvement over Kirk Cousins, and the offense is going to be a lot better. I don't know. That's a question mark for me. That's too big of a question mark for me to grab him at 2, I think. I do like him.
They've got a good offensive line, but you got Algier too as the handcuff. So it's like they're going to try and spell him too. Like you never know.
Yeah. So CeeDee Lamb. Let's move on to number 3. CeeDee Lamb. I like him a lot. I think Dallas's defense they went from being incredible 2 years ago to being pretty terrible by the end of last year. I don't think they're going to run a lot. You look at their running back room, it's a huge question mark. I think they're going to be throwing a lot. I've seen Dak tear the Vikings up with CeeDee Lamb with these sideline passes. I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. I think he can be consistent. I think he's got a high ceiling. I'm a fan. I would potentially take him number 2 overall, but he's definitely over Justin Jefferson in my mind.
See, I'm seeing that completely different than you. We have a different
Interesting.
The defense is going to be a little bit better because they're returning their one rep pass rusher, corner. A lot of guys on defense were hurt last year. They have a new coordinator. Yeah, they doesn't give up a bunch, but they're pretty solid in Eberflus. I know that being a Bears fan. I don't like Dak. Their offensive line is suspect. They have no run game, which means they'll have more volume, but you also have Pickens coming back there and a tight end, Ferguson, that's coming up. So I'm just not sure I can trust him for being the 3rd overall pick.
So
not that
you're worried about other targets taken away from his volume a little bit with Ferguson and Pickens? And you're saying the offensive line isn't maybe good enough to.
And I don't trust Dak. Dak, I don't see. Really? He's not worth a penny.
You don't think so?
I don't trust it.
Not for
the number 3 pick and the number 2 overall receiver. 1st round pick, sure. Not that high of volume. I know his targets from last year were 3rd highest in the league, I think, but I just don't agree that that's the guy I'm hitching my wagon to at 3. If I have 3, I want. I feel like the first 4 or 5 picks should be a guarantee.
All right, okay, so are you taking Justin Jefferson over him?
Over CeeDee Lamb? Yes. I'm also taking Jahmyr Gibbs over CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. Okay, tell me why.
Well, Justin Jefferson's proven to do it with multiple quarterbacks. It's been in the same system. They've only made improvements to defense and offensive lines. I think that in this situation, I think the rising tide raises all ships. I don't think that Dallas is the same equation. Mostly because of the line play. And I think with good line play, the quarterback will perform better. So speaking of the Vikings, than what Dallas has. So I have those 2 neck and neck. I'm going to take Jefferson on talent and potential more in the situation.
So let me cut in. I would have had him neck and neck until Justin Jefferson had his little hamstring flare up in camp. Hamstrings, classic. Okay. Lingering issues. He was out with a hamstring last year before. He's had this issue before that kept him out a few games. That's like the deciding factor for why I want CeeDee Lamb over Justin Jefferson. Maybe also to take into consideration, being a young quarterback, I think KOC is going to lean less on the pass attack. He's been wanting to be more run forward for many years. He just couldn't get it done. I think with this upgraded line, getting Jordan Mason into the mix, I think they're going to be a more ground and pound team, which I think is just going to, lower Justin Jefferson's overall volume. That's why I'm giving the nod to CeeDee Lamb.
Well, I guess I got a nod to you because you are the Minnesota guy. All right. How about in the division? In the North, Jahmyr Gibbs at 5. He's our first player. Well, not our first player, but the Fantasy Pros first player in Tier 2. Number 5 overall, Jahmyr Gibbs, running back 2.
He's great. But I feel like we've done this every year he's been in the league where, the talent is obviously there, but so is David Montgomery. So it's hard for me to take Jahmyr Gibbs that high knowing that granted, I mean, what's Montgomery coming back from? Was it like a torn ACL? How did he get injured last year? Because
it wasn't that dramatic, but yeah, it was a knee something.
Because Gibbs only put up those insane numbers when Montgomery was out, and when Montgomery was in, Gibbs wasn't bad, but he was probably only averaging 16 points a game, which would put him, I would say back around 2. New OC, yeah.
New center, new right guard also.
I love the talent. I just worry about the opportunity with Jahmyr Gibbs. So I wouldn't draft him there. If he ever fell to the bottom of the 2nd round, absolutely. I just don't like him at his current ranking.
Yeah, talent's there. Opportunity is just there's a lot more in flex, which if it was consistent to last year, same coach, same everything, I have him higher. But here I agree with you.
Just too many questions.
6, wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? So you got the addition of Devontae Adams is the other wide receiver. You've got the same quarterback, maybe, because Stafford's dealing with some injuries right now, low back and elbow, I think.
Yes.
Where you at with Puka Nacua?
Well, and this is where things get a lot more murky, right? This is where people's gut comes into play more often, where Puka, not only you got the Matt Stafford health issues where if he goes out, you got hospital ball Jimmy G as a backup quarterback. Not only that, but Puka Nacua historically has not been a red zone guy for whatever reason. And they just added Devontae Adams, who is a red zone guy. For that reason, a little too many question marks for me to grab him here. But let's talk about Malik Neighbors. Who the fuck is going to be the quarterback? I don't know. As far as I know, I don't think they have a great O-line either. It makes it hard to draft Malik Neighbors at this point because, again, first round, my very first pick, I want someone that I have as few question marks as possible. I'm not too worried about upside with this first round. I need like a guy that's not going to lose me the league in the first round. I think in my mind, I'm taking Amon-Ra here, probably like around pick 5. I'm taking Amon-Ra over Malik, Puka, and honestly, probably Jahmyr Gibbs. He's just been super consistent. If you watch him on receiver, he's very injury conscious. Like he doesn't take hits. Like he'll really kind of avoid hits because he's trying to stay healthy. Which
all right,
I
can't right now. I gotta slow you down on that Malik
What's
Neighbors
wrong?
thing. I gotta stop you. I
Okay,
can't. I just can't listen to this blasphemy anymore. Sorry, Malik Neighbors, bro. Last year, I'm biased. Okay, he and Robinson won me a league. Okay, he's a rookie. That was sick. But you don't know who his quarterback is. His room is Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart. I will take that far and above any other day than Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Tim Boyle. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Wait.
Slow down. Catches.
Slow down. Why did you say those quarterbacks? What are the significance of Tim Boyle and all them?
Because
that's what he had last year.
The league. Malik Neighbors had 109 catches, 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns. I'm sorry, with 7 touchdowns. With Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Tim Boyle as the quarterbacks. They've
also a little bit of injury
at all positions at quarterback. I don't love those quarterbacks, but it's better than what he had last year. I can't see how that's any different. He's shown he's got the talent of Odell Beckham 2.0, and he's got a better passer than last year.
He's also a diva, and the Giants, I mean, are they going to be a winning team? Right. And if they're not a winning team, is he going to be, trying his hardest?
His chains aren't as big as Justin Jefferson's, are they? They're not as big as Jamar Chase's yet.
His what aren't as big as Justin Jefferson's?
His chains. You talk about diva, he's got chains.
Dude, first of all, Justin Jefferson is not a diva. Anything but.
He's got the chains. He's got the gritty.
Listen,
grills.
Okay, we can agree to disagree on this one. I'm not denying he has league-winning potential. It's just not for me, not at that position. I'd take him, again, probably bottom of the second tier. I'd probably take him over... Well, we'll see. We'll get there.
I'll put it this way. I'll take Neighbors over Puka and St. Brown in the first round.
Okay. Well, are you taking Brown or Puka? Which one are you taking first?
I'm taking St. Brown because of Jimmy, not because of their talent.
Yeah.
If Jimmy Garoppolo's the Puka, that risk is too high for me.
Right.
I'd rather have St. Brown with Goff with a new OC just because they've been together and they understand how to do that. He'll still be the volume guy. So that's the risk reward for Puka's, especially like in a 10 or 12 man league. To put him at 6 is nuts. I'll take him if I have like a quick turn and a snake. If I got him at like 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking him at 6 as a standalone.
Yeah. Okay. Next 3 picks we got. This might be spicy. We got Saquon, Nico, and Brian Thomas Jr. I'll start here. I think Saquon, I drafted him above ADP last year, and he did me proud. I got a little bit of that kind of vested interest in him just based on the history. I probably put him, which is crazy because like at the beginning of the season, like was he not like the number arguably 1 or 2? Like after it was either him or Jamar Chase. Now he's all the way down at 9 right now. Like I thought
he was middle of the pack. I remember in the first round because it was the unknown of having a new team.
At any rate, I like Saquon a lot. I think he's got less question marks for me. I think the only reason people are downgrading him is because of how many touches he got last year. And there's like injury worry, which like anyone can get injured. And he's like a pretty thick, solid guy. I draft him not much higher, but I'd probably take him around the 5 or 6 spot. Just because obviously talent is there. Eagles have, even with their departures, a great O-line, maybe Jalen Hurts is stealing some goal line touches. I like Saquon Barkley a lot. I draft him above 9. Now, Nico and Brian Thomas Jr., you said you liked Nico a lot. I have question marks. I'm kind of a hater of CJ Stroud. I don't think he's really proved that he's that guy yet, especially after last year. You look at like clean pocket statistics. Even last year when he had a clean pocket, he did really bad. I worry that his rookie year was just a flash in the pan. And even before that, Nico Collins was never really a proven receiver before that to be going top 10. It's a little too much risk for me. I think I prefer Brian Thomas Jr. over him. I think if we're looking at the wide receivers in tier 2, I'm putting it like Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, like Malik and Puka interchangeably, and I probably put Nico at the bottom of my tier 2. Like probably putting him at 11, with pretty much every wide receiver above him in this second tier.
So are you saying it's more hype than talent, or where are you at with Nico?
No, I think the talent is there. I'm more worried about the Texans team, and I worry about I'm a CJ Stroud skepticist, you could say. I'm skeptical of their offense. I'm very skeptical of their offensive line. Dude, their new starting guard is Ed Ingram, who used to start on the Vikings, and he was terrible. I think their offensive line might be still very bad. I think their defense is pretty solid, so there might be some limited passing upside. There's a chance he does go nuclear this year. Again, I'm not totally writing him off, but I wouldn't take him over Brian Thomas or Amon-Ra or Malik or Puka. That's where I'm at.
So in 12 games, he had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. He did miss, weeks 5, 6 through 10, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's there. I'm not sold on the offensive line or Stroud. I think Stroud is talented, but I don't think he's going to break top 10 consistently for his career. They got a new OC. I like him at the back end of the first, preferably early second. But if we're talking 9, 10, 11, Saquon, Nico, Brian Thomas Jr., I'm probably going to leave it at that place. If I got to switch anything, I'd swap Saquon and Puka. So 6 and 9. I wouldn't swap. If it had to stay 9, 10, 11, I'd keep it where it is. Brian Thomas Jr., I don't know what to think of this year. I'm excited about him because, again, he was a part of that Neighbors.
Well, they got Dave Robinson. Don't they have Dave Canales now? Or who they get from the Bucks that made Baker Mayfield look real good? Was it not? No, Canales is on the Panthers. Or wait,
Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen. That's who I'm thinking of, yeah.
Duval. But that's my concern, is that, so you got Trevor Lawrence, who's not lived up to the hype, and we all know that by now, overpaid and just average as the day is long. But a different scheme. Cohen did a really great job with the screen game, and his vertical game was based on Mike Evans. And Brian Thomas Jr. is a deep ball guy, but it's a different style of playing. So you have that supplemented with Travis Hunter, who is the ultimate wild card unknown this year.
Yeah, no. I have no idea what to
expect. It's Brian Thomas Jr. just because the talent is there, the volume should be there, but you just don't know what his other guy's going to do, and you don't know what the quarterback's going to really produce. So I'm keeping it 9, 10, 11. If I got to go Saquon, Collins, Thomas, I'm leaving it as is as we finish up tier 2. That's where I'm at.
Dope. Well, hey, we just hit an hour. I still have to pee really bad. How about we put a bow on this and tackle tier 3 and tier 4 next week?
Well, I'm into that. And guess what? In a week, these tiers are probably going to change anyway, as we alluded to earlier.
Exactly.
So I can't wait. I'm going to start digging into this a little bit more. It's going to be an exciting week for this type of stuff, especially as camp gets into the heat of it and we get ready for our first preseason game here. Can't wait.
Dope. Well, cool. Let's put a bow on it. Run the North, season 2, episode 2. Will and Jason. We got to find a fucking line to close this out with. Run the North, baby.
I mean, bear down feels good to me, but it's not the thing.
All right. See you next week, viewers.